But that Illinois game right off the bat, because they can play defense. That's a Big Ten defense. And we're going to find out a lot about Duke and Mensa in that first game of the season against a real opponent. So,
yeah, that's what I like about their schedule this year compared to last year's. Last year, it felt like there was a gradual buildup, and that was fine. And I think that's what that team needed under a new staff and a new system, and everybody getting to know each other when the bullets are flying in the heat of a game. I think it's good for this team that has been together for a year for the most part. They have some transfers. We obviously just talked about them. But I think it's better to kind of jump into the deep end of the pool in that first weekend of September. Like I think that's going to help this team kind of find their footing. The part of the schedule I don't like for Duke is the off week, one game, and then the other off week. I think that could
they
not
have that.
That could not have turned out worse. It's off week. I think then it's Georgia Tech at home and then another off week. It might be a road game at Georgia Tech. I'm not sure, but they're gonna go about what would be about 27 days or 28 days with one game being played, and that's going to be a weird feeling on the bodies.
Let's see. So they got back-to-back there, Illinois at home, Tulane on the road, and then the NC State starts the ACC games back-to-back there with Syracuse. You got
to go out to Syracuse and then out to Cal.
Out to Cal. Do have to go out west. Then there's the bye.
Yeah. Home against
before Georgia Tech, which by the way is good before Georgia Tech. That's going to be a really big game. And then you've got the other bye before Clemson.
Yeah.
I guess the only good thing is that at least you got time to prepare against two of the top games in the conference this year.
And I'll tell you what, with how physical Brent Key has Georgia Tech playing, it's good to have an off week after that game because your body is going to be beat up after you play Georgia Tech. That might be the surest bet in the ACC this year. But having one game in a 3-week stretch is weird, man. It's going to be a weird thing for Duke.
I mean, the only good thing about it could be if they get off to a really good start, and then these are really big games. Then again, they've got time to prepare, and the other teams won't be as rested as they will be. So maybe they could use that as an advantage. Then after that, Connecticut on the road. Virginia, North Carolina at Chapel Hill, of course. How is the Duke-North Carolina football rivalry?
It's good. It's obviously it's not going to be as big as basketball, and it's not as big a rivalry as UNC versus NC State football-wise. But there is some nastiness to it. There is some verve to it, to steal a favorite term of Mike Krzyzewski. Duke won last year. They had lost, I think it was 4 straight to Carolina. And so it was in Durham, and they have I think it's really cool that there's a trophy involved. So there's a victory bell that gets painted the winning school's colors. And so Duke went over and grabbed the victory bell and ran it across the field, and we're ringing it, and hey,
the college kids have fun.
Yeah, nobody's mistaking Duke Carolina football rivalry for any type of basketball rivalry in the state, but it is a good one.
Their win total is 6.5. Now it is a high number at -160, meaning that it's really more like 7.
Yeah.
So most people actually expect Duke to get about 7 wins. I guess the question is, and they had 9 last year. So yeah, I don't know. I'm actually a little bit surprised that it's only 6.5. That's why it's got the -160. So, I wouldn't mind actually even thinking 8. If it was 7.5 and I got even numbers and I can just go into that, I'd be fine with that. Because again, we looked at the schedule, and even though that Illinois game is probably as big as any game that they're going to play this season, because it's the first game of the real season, but it's also it's a big game. I mean, this is one of their, what would you say, one of their three toughest games of the season, and it happens at a very important time of the year. It's one of those kind of springboard games if they win.
Yeah, there's one team on this schedule that I expect to be a CFP team, and that's Clemson. And then I would say Illinois is probably, if you had to ask me right now who I think the number 2 most likely team to make the CFP on this schedule is, I would say it's Illinois. So that's the one I'm looking at, as that's going to tell us a lot about this Duke team. And then whether they win or lose that game, the following week at Tulane, one of those tricky G5 road games, is going to tell us a lot. If they beat Illinois and then go down there and follow it up with a win at Tulane.
Yeah. If you don't want a hangover.
Yeah. If it plays out the opposite, if they lose to Illinois at home and then go on the road and win what I'm sure is going to probably be a hornet's nest of a game at Tulane, it's going to pump some life back into the season for them. Those weeks 2 and 3 are going to tell us a lot. And then, I mean, NC State is a good little rivalry. They're close to each other. Raleigh and Durham are about 20-25 minutes apart. At Syracuse is a weird place to play. I'm not sure how much to expect out of Cal this year, but it is a road trip 3,000 miles away.
Yeah, the Georgia Tech one is because I think Georgia Tech is going to have a really good season. I do. I think that's why I think both Georgia Tech and Duke, I think this game could be huge for the ACC, because I think the winner of that game could end up as that third team in the ACC that's trying to break through and be a sleeper to the ACC championship game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one where, trying to remember my series history here, but Georgia Tech has gotten Duke a couple times. I think it was Elko's first season. Duke went down there and it was their first loss of the year. Trying to remember correctly. They've become such a tough team to play, because Brent Key has made everything about just being more physical than you.
Oh yeah. And they got a good quarterback.
Yeah.
So that is it's funny too, because Texas A&M, they sure wish they had him last year. That was the only thing missing from Texas A&M was that quarterback room.
Absolutely.
And, even though I know that Reed came in and gives them some hope this year, but he was too young last year. And I mean, they could have been a definite playoff team if they had their quarterback situation straightened out. But yeah, that should be nice. A couple like sleeper quarterbacks in the ACC that, I know, maybe not in the ACC, but the national people aren't really too familiar with that. Hey, watch this game. If both teams are off to good starts this season, that could be, one of those little nice games that you want to watch. But I look at the schedule and I definitely see 7 wins. So the question is, can they get 8, 9, or 10? And that all depends on whether or not they're going to have a special season.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And that's kind of the way it's been for Duke for the last 3 seasons, right? I mean, they won 9 in Elko's first year. They won 9 in Manny's first year. The year in between, they went 7-5, or I guess 8-5 with the bowl win. But
not
you look at that 23 team, and they're the ones that beat Clemson. They're the ones that they're a 4th and 16 stop against Sam Hartman away from being 5-0 and probably ranked in the top 10 or 15 at the end of September of that season. So you start splitting hairs over which games you won and which team actually was better between a 9-win and an 8-win team.